into how the government handled things in the Czech Republic. How did they take care of the people? What are they doing for the businesses that shut down? How do the people feel in the Czech Republic? Like, what's going on? Talk to me
Yeah,
about all that.
I mean, like, if you told any like kid like growing up in the '90s or the early 2000s that a fucking post-communist country is gonna like set you up better than the U.S., like, it'd be like, okay, like, I don't know. There's just like, when I thought of like when I grew, I mean, I think of like, I don't know, like always like post-communist, for example, or like I feel like even people when they think about the Czech Republic, I mean, they can associate it with this like post-communist economy, but like, I mean, the Czech Republic is unique, and I can argue that, but like,
How long have you lived there, just to set some context?
I first came to the Czech Republic 5 years ago. I studied here 5 years ago, but then I moved here in October 2016.
Okay, so it'll be 4 years in October.
Yeah, exactly.
Long enough to know what you're talking about.
I think as a tour guide, as having Czech friends, as being romantically involved with Czechs, I think I've gotten a decent enough kind of feel of the whole thing.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm not like a fish, you know what I mean? But I think that
Sure, but you've been
gotten my
immersed long
sea
enough.
legs or whatever. Yeah, however you want to continue the analogy. Um, they like, I think they get 5 stars. I mean, like, I know that you can pick that apart, but like, I was so proud, to be part of this, and like weirdly so. Like, I've honestly like struggled with I mean, my outlook on the United States has really changed over the course of 10 years. I mean, 10 years ago, I took a class called World Crises in high school, where I learned about like what the United States did in the Middle East, how they overthrew a democratically elected leader in Iran because they wanted basically the Shah and political and economic interests to remain. I had then, like, over time, learned, I never was taught about Vietnam, really. I was never taught about Central America, was never taught about South America. And, I spent like most of my like kind of conscious life in the Obama era. And then I moved here in October 2016. So
Yeah, what a
like,
time to fucking leave the US.
yeah. And I've been here. I mean, like, I've been home. I usually go home once every 6 months. So I've been home about 8 times, 7 times, over the course of 4 years. So like, I don't know. I feel really weird. I feel like a friend that has that like cussed me out and kind of like pushed me out of their life. And I had issues with them before, and I don't know how to navigate it. And I have like a lot of trouble with that. And then so I have this like new friend, Czechia, come in, and like we have this crisis, and they say like, okay, well, like, we're going to shut everything down. We're going to shut everything down before it gets really bad. Um, everyone should wear face masks on public transportation. Basically seniors are the only ones that can shop from 8 to 10 a.m. in the supermarkets. Oh, and also like for all freelancers, apply for this, and we will give you 24,000 crowns, which is the equivalent of $1,200. And ask anyone, you can ask more people if you have them that are freelancers in the Czech Republic. I got that money in 3 days.
Wow.
Like, it's efficient as fuck, So like
And by the way, $1,200 lasts a long time where you are.
Yeah, that too. I mean, $1,200, like, now that we have a third roommate, that's 4 months of rent. Like, that's super helpful to a guy that doesn't know when either of his jobs are going to start up, and that gives me the space so I don't have to like force myself into a position, like, I feel like I'm just a little bit more comfortable, because to be honest, like, I don't want to teach like Chinese children on like VIP Kid.
Right.
It's just something that I don't want to do. I hate the idea of it, and I hate teaching English. And I know I'm saying that from a point of privilege. And like, if I never got it, I would be on that boat and I would be more stressed out. But like, luckily they, I don't know, gave me a position where I was like able to breathe and I was able to relax. I was able to calm down and go like,
It's
okay, what?
amazing because freelancers here in the US, if you weren't a lot of times with freelancing in the gig economy, it's cash, right? Quickly, under the table, like under the table. I say that just because of the nature of the business, and you
Yeah.
don't get to collect unemployment.
Yeah. Can we hold on one second? I need to get my computer charger.
Yeah,
Okay.
timing because we only have a couple minutes left. Okay, so it's nice to hear that that is what happened with the government there, and yeah, in a lot of ways, it's like compare. Let's not compare, at least right now, because I do have a question for that. But what about the whole like uh, I don't know, lack of better words, I'm going to call it PTSD from the communist era, and then like being told that okay, we're going into lockdown, or you have to stay home. Was there any resist? Nothing.
I mean, not that I've heard. I mean, like, I
You think it
look,
was almost easier for people to listen because of that?
um, look, but if you say that, I think that you're like, kind of pointing towards a cultural trend in Europe as a whole. You know,
Ah,
and it's also been 30 years since the communist era had fallen. So I mean, even like, think about it. If a kid's like 10 years old, they don't really remember. You know what I mean? So like, I haven't asked a lot of elderly people. You know, I
sure.
haven't gotten the feel from a lot of elderly people.
Sure,
But
sure.
like,
That's a good point. That's a good point. People your age, it was over by then. So,
even if they were 8 years old, you know what I mean? And the
right.
90s, granted, was a different thing. But even like, relationship with the police here is much better than relationship with the police in the US. I'm a lot more comfortable negotiating with the police here. I was locked out of a friend's house, or I was like locked out of an apartment. My phone had died, and I wanted to get into the apartment. I didn't know what buzzer was my friend's. So I literally at one point got so frustrated I buzzed everyone. And I was like, that's fine, because if the police come, I'll just ask them, tell them I was locked out, ask them if I can use their phone, call them, and it'll be solved. You know? I wouldn't do that because I feel like the police would harass the fuck out of me in the US, or they would take me into the station first.
Yeah, man. Wow. It's interesting. We
Yeah,
definitely have a lot
it's
to learn.
weird.
It is
Like if you,
weird.
I'm just saying, like I'm sure that like my great uncle, if I told him any of this, would be like, I'm very shocked because when I heard about the communist era, I thought all the food was gray and I thought all the buildings were gray, you know?
Right.
And then there were just red flags everywhere. Like red was the decoration.
Like, no, actually, no.
Oh, like,
um,
and yeah, I mean,